Hello everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain. So, before we started the podcast, I was humming the overworld theme of the NES version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Cafe Fox called me out on it, because I often hum that theme. It's one of my go-tos. You'll hear me hum Mega Man 2 music a lot, too. Two types of people in this world. Mega Man 2 fans and Mega Man 3 fans. People whose favorite is Mega Man 2 and people whose favorite is Mega Man 3. I'm a Mega Man 2 kind of guy, and I try so hard to figure out if I genuinely just like Mega Man 2 better, even though Mega Man 3 has the slide. And man, that's a game changer. Or I wonder if I like Mega Man 2 the best because it's the best in my opinion, or if it's just the first one I played. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I played Mega Man 1 before I played Mega Man 2, and Mega Man 2 is way better than Mega Man 1. So, I like Mega Man 2 better. It just, I find the bosses more memorable, the weapons more memorable, the Wily stages are better. The music is more memorable. Nothing wrong with 3. 3's great, and it's got a slide. But I'm a Mega Man 2 guy. Anyway, so we're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and how it's for the NES and how it's a very difficult game. And if you watch me stream on Sunday on the Sunday stream, you'll know that I'm incredible at video games. I'm like so good, you guys. Which is why it took me 209 hours to beat Trails from Zero. But I've beaten my fair share of damned hard games. I beat Battletoads. I beat Snake Rattle and Roll. I beat one trip through Ghosts and Goblins, Ghoul and Ghosts, whichever one is the one where you get to the end and that's like, now do it again to get the true ending. And I went, nope. Nope. But I never beat Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES. So, I could not beat the Technodrome. I've since watched the last level of the game. You beat the Technodrome, you hop inside, brand new level, you fight the Shredder. I don't remember if you fight Krang or not, but and that's the end of the game. But how that level works is you infiltrate the Foot Clan base. It's kind of like you're in Metal Gear Solid and actually Metal Gear because of the overhead perspective. You wander around this like military base, and there are 3 sewers. And each sewer is it's not a sewer, but it's a manhole that leads to a cavern full of monsters. And all 3 of them are pretty hard levels to get through without losing most, if not all, of your health. So, the way the game worked is you had your 4 turtles, and you could swap between them. But once one of them lost their lives, you had to go rescue them from a rescue point, of which there were precious few. Now, the thing was, Raphael, because of his short reach, was completely useless. So, you'd essentially use him as a human shield. Just to get as far as you could, and then swap him out with someone with some reach, like Donatello. So, how it worked is the purpose of this stage. The point was to go into the sewer, go through the cavern to the end, and see if the Technodrome was there. It's random. Where the Technodrome is completely random. And because I have no damn luck, it was always in the last place, the last possible place. I think there's 3 caverns, and it was always in the 3rd place. So by the time I finally found the damn Technodrome, I was down to like my last turtle and like 3 blocks of health. So I never really got very far in damaging the Technodrome. Mainly because I never really got a chance to practice fighting the Technodrome because I died pretty much instantly. One thing I don't remember is if you walk in the door and it's just this big open area. Nope. No Technodrome here. I don't remember if you could just instantly exit or if you had to walk all the way back out again. I don't remember. But so, yeah, I never beat Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES. Cafe Fox says Mega Man 2 was the first for me, but the hype for 3 and nostalgia makes it my fave. Alright, Chicago says Mega Man 2. Music is fire too. Agree. Chicago says Mega Man 2 is my favorite and first. It was Ghosts and Goblins. Thank you. I can never remember if it's Ghosts and Goblins or Ghouls and Ghosts. Very similar names, so it is difficult to keep straight. Cafe Fox says, I can get to that last hallway, but I always bite it. Ironically, TMNT and Mega Man 3 are some of the only CIB games I have for the NES. What is CIB? Chaos. Hello. Classic games. So last week, if I'm remembering correctly, I talked about the demo for Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince, I think it's called. And Dragon Quest is my favorite RPG franchise. Oh, complete in box. Okay, gotcha. CIB complete in box, right? Dragon Quest, my favorite RPG series. Not the best RPG series. I would not be surprised if that ends up being Trails. But you know, it's part of my childhood. It's a huge part of my childhood, so it'll probably always be my go-to favorite RPG series, even if it's not the best. So, I played the demo for Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince. I thought it was terrible because it's very bad. It runs poorly and it's not very fun. Maybe it suffers from a bad demo, but yikes. He says Trails is very good. It is. I concur. Scratch. In fact, it was very difficult for me to not do a extra, to shirk some of the other things I've been working on all week and just do an extra midweek stream of Trails to Azure because I wanted to play it some more. But we'll play more Azure tomorrow. What was it talking about? Oh, right. So unfortunately, Dragon Quest Monsters, The Dark Prince, whatever it's called, didn't do it for me. But I remembered there was another game that came out last year, Dragon Quest Treasure. Treasures? I think it's actually Treasures, plural. Pardon me. Boy, got like a hiccup and belch both stuck at the same time. Dragon Quest Treasures has a demo, downloaded it, played it, and not bad. So here's how the game... So I didn't really know much about the game, but it stars one of your party members from Dragon Quest XI and his sister, whose name I don't remember, went back when they're young children. So they're living with some pirates, and they're like, hey, let's run away and go quest for treasure. So they do. And then they find two little glowing green and pink fairy animals, and then they get, like, sucked to another world. A world of treasure. But they get separated, so you will play whatever the sister's name is, and the idea is you get a monster companion, and as you play through the game, you get more monster companions, and it's not turn-based battling, it's real-time overworld battling. So when you come up against monsters in the field, your monster companions start beating on them, and you can, hit them with a stick or flick them with a slingshot or something, but mostly you just use your monsters. But you can also use your monsters to find treasures. And one of the neat gimmicks of the game is you see through the eyes of your monster companions to locate hidden treasure. but some of your monsters are like if you have a little knight who's wearing a helmet, you might have very limited view of what the knight saw, or one of your monsters may be a dog that sees in black and white or something like that. It's really neat little gimmick. A lot of times you find treasures that'll just be silhouettes because you haven't appraised it yet. You don't know what treasure you have. And you get to a point in the game where your monsters get super moves, and you create a town with a Scrooge McDuck money bin that you can fill with treasure, and you get the treasures appraised, and the treasures a lot of them are essentially the trophies from Smash Brothers, but all Dragon Quest themed. So it's like little character minifigs from the earlier games, or statues of the the heroes from the earlier games. And the various props and stuff. So some neat stuff. What fascinated me about the demo is it ends before it gets to any of the interesting stuff. Now, to the demo's credit, to be clear, it ends before you have a full party of monsters. It ends before you get a chance to appraise anything and find out, oh, this is the neat nostalgia bait stuff we're doing for the treasures. There's only one instance of one of your monsters knowing where... No, I'm sorry, two instances where one of your monsters knows where a treasure is. But this monster has perfect eyesight, so it's just, a picture of a location. You have to figure out where that is, so it's not as interesting. Your characters don't get super moves. You don't found the town where you gather your population of monsters. You get your Scrooge McDuck bin of money. It ends before all of that, which is weird, right? I mean, imagine if they demoed... Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and the demo ended before you got the fuse mechanic. Right? You'd be like, what are you doing? Why are you ending it here? The fuse mechanic is the selling point of the game. But, as I was saying, to Dragon Quest Treasures credit, once the demo ends, it does launch into like a 3 or 4 minute trailer for the game that shows off all the stuff I just talked about. So you finish the demo going, that's it? Oh, well, I mean, it's cute, as Dragon Quest is wont to be. I mean, the character designs are adorable. The music is still nostalgia-rific, but it's kind of short and doesn't really do much. And then it launches in the trailer, and you go, oh, I see what this game is going for. That's pretty neat. How come none of that's in the demo? I mean, you start a demo for what is, well, at the very least, a spin-off of an RPG. You have an expectation that it's probably going to be a pretty lengthy demo. Most RPGs, or at least RPG-adjacent demos, typically run in like the 3 or 4 hour range. No, this one's like an hour. Just kind of weird. And it's weird because the demo ends and they immediately jump into a trailer showing you all the stuff that the demo doesn't. It feels like they know that the demo isn't showing off the goods. Maybe it might have been time constraints. Might have been the publisher being weird and saying, no, you can't play all your cards. You gotta keep them close to the vest. Who knows? I just found it just a very odd... You don't want to end a demo going, wait, that's it? Yeah. Still, kudos to adding the 3 or 4 minute trailer, because it really does show off some intriguing gameplay elements that would not have been amiss in a demo of the game. Oh well. Chaos says, shame all the Trails games aren't available on one platform aside from possibly Steam. I think they're all available on PC, so there's that. Yeah. Let's see. Welcome to Hong Kong. I mean Crossbell. Well, I mean we've got East Street, which has the Eastern flavor. Have I played any of the regular Dragon Quest games? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I played the first 4 when they were called Dragon Warrior. But at Dragon Quest V, by the time they got to 5, they stopped releasing them on Nintendo consoles, so I didn't have an opportunity to play them. So I didn't get to play them again until Dragon Quest VIII. Which is unfortunate. But I've never played 5, 6, or 7. I quite liked 8. I think 2, 3, 4 is probably 4 is the best. I think maybe that's nostalgia goggles, but I think 4 really knocked it out of the park. Although 2 and 3 are great too. 1 is, I think 1 is my first RPG proper, and it is pretty great. It feels like RPG template the game, right? I mean it is exactly what you think of just by the numbers RPG, but it does everything just correctly, so it works really well. And then in 2, they started adding new characters and started giving the characters a lot more personality. And even in the first game, you're not just a nameless blank slate of a character. You actually do have a character. Although early NES game, the personality is kind of implied by the way the characters are talking to you. But when you get into Dragon Quest VIII, they do the silent protagonist thing, which I generally don't like. I'll give you an example here. If you ask a Dragon Quest fan to name their favorite character from Dragon Quest VIII or the more recent Dragon Quest XI, they are probably not going to name the hero. Because the hero has almost no personality. The hero in both games do have a story. If I'm remembering correctly, the hero in Dragon Quest VIII is like a knight of the cursed king, I think is what his deal is. The dude in Dragon Quest XI is like the chosen one who gets... They're like, oh, no, but you're the chosen of destruction, and then they lock him in a cell, and then he escapes with Eric, I think, and then they go on their adventure. That's the thing about the nameless protagonists, or the voiceless protagonists, is they're like personality vacuums, and you don't remember them, because I think they're supposed to be the audience insert character, but it just doesn't work for me. They just become flat and unmemorable. Yes, Steam has all the Trails game. And pretty lightweight hardware requirements-wise. Yeah, I'm only on Azure, which I think was like 2006 or thereabouts. I don't know when, the Crossbell games we're looking at, I don't know, 2008 through... like 2016 or something like that. I think Crossbell 1 and 2 came out within a span of 2 years, and I think they like skipped a couple of years and then did 3 and 4 over. I don't know. I'm going into the games as blind as I can. I don't even watch the trailers, so I don't even when I was getting the if you look at I have the little Trails to Azure logo down here. For the Sunday stream, the title card over on Twitch, which has me going yay and has the game box art. I essentially searched for the game box art and then just kind of didn't look. It's green. It's got people on it. That's about all I know because I don't look at the box art because I don't want to because I'm going in as blind as I can. And again, thanks to all the people who've been following me on the Trails journey for not spoiling anything. Y'all are great. Yeah, they're originally PSP, or at least the earlier ones were PSP games. Yes, his point is I'd like to see them all on PlayStation or Nintendo, yeah. Chicago Journey of the Cursed King. Yeah, that's 8. But anyway, I played 8. I quite liked it. I would prefer a fully voiced, fully fleshed out character protagonist, but it's still a fun game. Same thing with 11. Really liked it. They are akin to cotton candy. They are not very deep. They're not very filling. They're just fluffy sugar, and I love them. They rarely break the mold. They're just quintessential RPG goodness. They're just very good at what they do. They've got, to me anyway, a very pleasing aesthetic style. They're great games to just relax and zen to. And the stories can be Dragon Quest, generally speaking, while they do have their moments of darkness, they are broadly, hey, I like this world that we live in, and I like the people we share it with. Let's go kick evil's ass. Because they're making the world a not nice place. So me and my friends, we're gonna get together and we're gonna go town to town and we're just gonna make the world a better place for everyone in it. And gosh, that's just nice. You know, I love that. So that's one of the things I like about Dragon Quest. You know, saving the world's easy. You just need the 6 magical colored-coded balls of justice, and then you put them on the pedestals, and it opens the door, you walk in, you kick a dragon in the nuts, and you call it a day. Dragon Quest XI, goes a step further. It's like, what do I want to say about this without spoiling anything? Give me a second to figure out how I'm going to say this. Your main characters do the we're gonna save the world kind of thing. And then they do, but that's only like halfway through the game. Because your characters are like, you know what? We can save the world even harder. You know? I'm not gonna spoil how they do that or what, but it's like, we've saved the world, but you know what? We can do it better. You know, I'm making something up. This is not in the game. You go through an RPG, your hometown gets razed, right? That's how a lot of these start. Okay, it's like, okay, we've saved the world, but you know our hometown is still in ruins. What if we could save the world again, but the town doesn't have to get burned down this time? Still saving the world, but we saved it even better. It does something like that, which I just found genuinely adorable. And you could levy a critique at it along the lines of, there's no stakes now. Like, you know, you have you lose something important to you, like a town or a character or you know, your prized collection of Tamagotchis. But if you can go back and just, you know, revive all the dead people and rebuild all the towns and get all your Tamagotchis back, well, doesn't that eliminate any sense of tension or stakes? Do you end the game? Do you end the game feeling like there were no consequences? That everything was completely inconsequential? For some players, perhaps. I'll admit that, but for me, no. No, it's just a gosh darn pleasant game, and I love it so. I did not love, on the other hand, Dragon Quest IX, Sentinels of the Starry Sky, or something like that, which was on the DS. And I played it for about 30 hours. There's some good Dragon Quest goodness in it, I'll say. But where it fell flat for me was the characters. I think this is the one where you have basically Navi character from like Ocarina of Time. I think her name's Stella. She's like a fairy butterfly thing who speaks on your behalf because you're a blank slate silent character. Also, this game is, you don't get characters like Jessica and Angelo or any of the other characters from 8 or Sylvana or Eric or any of the other guys from 11. No, you just essentially recruit character classes and they have absolutely no personality or relation to anyone or anything in the world at all, which that took away enough of the charm of Dragon Quest for me that I stopped playing after about 30 hours, which is no small chunk of time to invest in any one video game. Still mechanically a fun game, but I didn't want to play it on the DS. Also, the way they handle characters in it keeps you at arm's length from the story and how you interact with the world you're inhabiting. So 9 didn't do it for me. But maybe one day I'll go back and play some version of 5, 6, or 7. Trails in the Sky is only on PSP and Steam. Could be wrong. Matthew said, okay, but Sky runs on a potato. Might be the case. Yeah, I don't know if the Sky games are on any of the consoles. The Cold Steel games, I think, are on the PlayStation. Azure and the Crossbell games are on both PlayStation and Switch, I think. Don't know if any of them are on Xbox. I don't know. Y'all have access to Wikipedia or something. Y'all can look it up. Matthew continues. Sky Games plus Cold Steel 1 and 2 are published by one publisher. Oh, so it's Cold Steel 1 and 2 that are one publisher, which was Exceed, I think. And all the others are another, which I think is NIS America, maybe. So the original Western publisher has no reason to bring Sky Games to other platforms. Perhaps. Okay, so we talked Dragon Quest Treasures. Okay, so none are on Xbox. Poor Xboxers? I don't know. Do we have pet names for players of certain consoles? I don't think we do. No, it's just, I guess, console fanboy, Nintendo fanboy, Sony fanboy, Xbox, Microsoft fanboy. But I don't think we've ever made up pet names like Xboxers or PlayStationeers or probably get something real dirty for the Switch. But seriously, Nintendo, Google is your friend. Google the gosh darn console name before you green stamp it, right? Just make sure it's not a sex term before you give it the green light. I mean, granted, everything's a sex term, as Tom Lehrer so studiously pointed out in which song is it? Smut. When correctly viewed, everything is lewd. So, Xbots. You're right, Chaos. I've heard of that one. That's true. Okay, so Xbots, Sony ponies. Actually, that's pretty. That's so stupid. I kind of love it. Sony ponies. Yeah, I kind of dig that. Nintendo drones. Okay, those are pretty derisive, but Xbots, Sony pony is too silly to be derisive. Xbot and Nintendo drone. I think we need to workshop Sony pony though. I think we can do better. Have to give that a think. Alright. So, continuing my adventures with tech support, I was amused to see, I released a video today, and after an hour it had 0 views, and I'm looking at 11,600 subscribers. Seems legit. I mean, it's like, wow. And I know, I mean, I've got, the 200 people in the Gem fandom all know who I am and what I'm doing, so... So I groused on social media about it. I'm like, yeah, this seems legit. And of course, Team YouTube was more than willing to start a conversation with me, which is always fun. Now, I'm pretty sure that Team YouTube is primarily a bot, because what it does is it looks at what you wrote, tries its best to figure out what you're talking about, then searches the YouTube help pages for something as close as it can find, links the page, grabs a sentence, uncapitalizes it, and then tweets that at you. That's my theory, anyway, which explains why half the time it's not even remotely related, let alone relevant. Chicago says, what if you're a fan of regarding fanboy names? What if you're a fan of gaming, regardless of console? Gamer? Yeah, that seems to work. Or are you a player? So I went back and forth with Team YouTube for like 6 hours because I'm an idiot. But I do occasionally manage to get some interesting little tidbits. For example, we know that the notification bell has 3 settings. Off, meaning you will not be notified of any videos uploaded to the channel you're subscribed to. On, or all, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but essentially a setting that you will be notified of every upload. You are supposed to be notified of every upload, but you absolutely will not be. This has never worked. But that's what it's supposed to do. And then there's a third option, which is called, not preferred, prioritized privileged, personalized, that's what it is. It's personalized. What that means is YouTube picks which video uploads it wants to notify you about. Now, in my conversation with this stupid bot, what I learned is that how the preference works... Preference? Preferred? Shoot, I can never remember the gosh darn name. Personalized. Just highlight that. Personalized. There we go. How they do it is they base it on 2 things. So says Team YouTube bot. Your past browsing history, which makes sense, and current YouTube trends. So, personalized is not necessarily, or at least always, what YouTube thinks you want to see or would be interested in. It's at least sometimes what YouTube wants you to be watching. Which is kind of crap from my perspective, but makes sense. Yeah, personalized. The notification bell. Let's go in the Wayback Machine and remember the YouTube of 2015-2016. For years, we had the ability to subscribe to channels. We say, hey, I like the cut of this channel's video content, so I'm going to subscribe, and I'll be notified when they upload stuff so I can go watch it. For years and years and years, subscribers complained to YouTube because they weren't being notified of the videos that from channels they were subscribed to. So YouTube, in 2016 or 17, had a fix for this. Oh yes, it did. YouTube says, okay, we've heard you. We listened and we heard you. We understand that when you subscribe to a channel, you do so because you want to be notified when the channel uploads videos, because that's why you subscribe to the channel. So, instead of fixing the broken subscription tool. What we're going to do instead is we're going to add a notification button so that when you subscribe to a channel, you can then choose whether you want to be notified of uploads or not. And that still doesn't work all the time. It's still unreliable, but now it's there. That's impressively stupid, honestly. Just fix the subscribe button. Now, I agree that, well, there are some people who don't want to be notified of every single video an entire channel uploads. I mean, imagine if you subscribe to, like, I don't know, IGN or something like that. They upload 25 videos a day. Ain't no one got time for that. Okay. So is the solution to subscribe but turn off the notifications? I don't know why it would be. You think you would just unsubscribe. Okay. But then you've got the personalized notification setting, but it's not you personalizing it, it's YouTube's personalization. I think that we subscribers should be able to personalize our notifications. And I think one of the most obvious things to do would be allow subscribers to opt in or out of playlists. I mean, take my channel for example. I have lots of different playlists. I have a playlist for the Sunday stream, for the Molehill Mountain podcast, which you're watching or listening to right now, for the Movie Mandates podcast, debut review, my Eurovision videos, anything I do with my sister, video game fashion police. I've got all kinds of stuff. Now, I don't, the Gem of the Holograms reviews, and I've got a variety of people subscribed to my channel, 11,600 and something. And they're not going to be interested in every single thing I watch. So they should have the ability to enable or disable notifications based on video. Or even tags if you want to get granular about it. I mean, I can totally perceive... I was speaking to one of my subscribers last week who said, you know, there's a certain kind of content from you that I really enjoy, and other content that I'm just not into. And that's perfectly understandable. They're not really into my gem stuff, for example. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just, you know what, I don't really care about Gem and the Holograms, I'll just uncheck the gem stuff and not get notified about that. But I'll get notified about the rest. That seems to be a great way to do it. Or if someone was really weird, it's like, I'm only here for Andrew's excellent video game prowess, so I'm only checking the Sunday streams. You never know. But Team YouTube had the brilliant idea, and it suggested this before. It says, we understand that your views are inconsistent. And I keep having to correct them on that. It's like, no, my views are consistent. They're consistently low. It's consistency ain't the problem. But they're like, okay, here's what you do. Tell your subscribers to turn on their notifications. Because as I queried YouTube, and they actually, in a circular way, but they admitted to this, back in 2016, 2017, when the notification bell was added, all current subscriptions were automatically set to personalized. So it's possible that, from the perspective of many of my subscribers, I dropped off the face of the damn earth. So they said, just notify your subscribers and tell them to turn on the notifications. Problem solved. And I said, great. How do I notify them? Make a video? That's not going to help if only, 100, 150 of my subscribers ever know that I uploaded a video. And they're like, no, you don't see, you don't get it. Dear sweet summer child. Community posts. I'm like, what? And they say, you can make a community post. Okay. My community posts get the same views as my videos. So, unless you're saying to me that if I make a community post, all of my subscribers who have notifications set to all or personalized will get it. And they go, no. Then what's the point? You dork. And for 6 hours we went back and forth on this until I got sassy. And I asked Team YouTube why they don't capitalize the first word of every sentence. And then they stopped talking to me. And you may have caught what I said earlier. They're constantly scraping their own help files for their replies. A lot of what they reply is just stuff they've taken from their own help files, which is a lot of times why it's not related to what you're talking about. But what I find particularly funny is I go to the help file and I find the sentence that they just copy-pasted into their tweet, and they uncapitalize it to do it. They copy what's capitalized correctly in the help documentation, and then they paste it into their tweet and they uncapitalize it. I don't know why they do that. I guess it's like, no, we got to be hip and cool with the kids. Capitalization is for weenies. Like, no, it makes it look sloppy and unprofessional, and it makes you look really stupid. Maybe it's a smokescreen. Maybe they want people to go, well, I mean, no wonder their advice is either irrelevant or flat out wrong. They can't even capitalize properly. What do you expect? So built-in excuse? Maybe. Lindy, hi. I think they should put in a calendar system, one that's embedded into YouTube, says Exile. So, kind of, maybe what kind of calendar system? So, like, just every week you get a list of videos from various channels. Here's what Andrew did this week. If that's what you're thinking, yeah, that could be something. Really, I just want people to be able, I want others to be able to have control over their YouTube experience. I don't trust YouTube to recommend me stuff. I've been fighting with YouTube for years to stop recommending bigotry and harmful disinformation, because really don't want to watch it. You know, I keep don't recommend this channel. And they're like, I'm like, really, you're not noticing the pattern here? You shouldn't be platforming this garbage anyway. At the very least, please stop recommending it to me. You know, I just like video games and cats, you know? But it's kind of depressing that there's a YouTube algorithm that probably profiles me and says, okay, Andrew Eisen, he's white, he's male, he's in the 30 to 45 range, he likes video games, he likes comic books, he likes all kinds of geeky things. He probably wants to see some really bigoted content. Ooh, yeah! Let's get him all the angry, bigoted conspiracy theory horse pucky. No, honestly, I don't. I really don't. Please stop recommending that crap to me. Chicago says, what if they're not bots? What if YouTube took inspiration from that Robert Walensky quote and hired a million monkeys? That was it, the monkeys on the typewriters will eventually get something useful kind of a thing? I hope that Team YouTube is primarily a bot, because if it's not... Wow! So, the Extra Life charity event is coming up. 3 weeks, I think. And, exciting. So last year's charity event, one of my last year we did the emergency kittens thing, where if you donated $10 for one of the incentives, we'd watch a cute kitten video. I'm not going to do that again this year because enough of the people whose kitten videos I used copyright claimed my stuff, which they have every right to do. Perfectly fine. Absolutely within their rights to copyright claim, because I used their footage. I didn't have their permission. I did ask. No one got back to me. Well, I mean, I asked everyone that had a contact email, and none of them got back to me. So I went, well, you know, if they don't like it, they can copyright claim it, and I'll just trim it out. Which I did. And all of that happened within, like, 2 weeks, right? That happened pretty quick. I did not have the rights to use any of that footage. You know, just because it's part of a charity event does not give me the right to do it. Just because I properly accredited each one does not give me the right to do it. It's perfectly fine. I do not blame any of them for claiming this stuff. It's theirs. If you don't want to be associated with this stream or me, perfectly fine. That's okay. I don't mind at all. Okay. That was a year ago. One person whose footage I used decided not to copyright claim my video, which would allow me to just trim the offending footage and call it a day, but decided to have my entire video, the entire chunk of that marathon, removed from YouTube. And you actually have 3 options when someone decides to do that. Number 1, you can wait 1 week and they will remove your video. Or you can remove it yourself and save YouTube the trouble, I guess. Or you can reach out to the claimant and ask them nicely to not do that. So I did, both through the form that's provided and through the contact information on the claimant's own YouTube page. And they have neither dropped that. I wrote them, I said, hi, I used your footage. I did not have your permission to do that. It was part of a charity event where we looked at your video and went, ooh, ah. I understand that you would prefer I not use your footage. I did credit you, but I understand you don't want my footage used in my video. Unfortunately, because of the type of claim that you put against it, my editing controls are locked. If you drop the claim, I promise you I will immediately trim that portion out of the video. Not heard back. So I had to download that very long segment of the charity event, load it into my video editor, remove that portion, render that entire damn video, and upload it again. So that when, most likely in the next 3 days, I think, that my video is removed, I can just go live with the old one. Which, I also kind of wish I had the ability to... I mean, very few of my subscribers get notified anyway, but it sure would be nice if I could just upload a replacement without having to notify it, because I don't think anyone cares about a segment of last year's marathon. I just, you know, for posterity, I'd like it in the playlist. But, eh. Now, the interesting thing is the email that is generated to inform you that this has happened has a link on the bottom that says, any questions, please email copyright at youtube.com or something. So I also sent an email to YouTube at copyright, or whatever that email is. I emailed them and explained what was going on. I said, I do not have a dispute. I would love to just trim that portion out, but the editing controls have been disabled. Is there anything you can do about it? I got a form letter back that instructed me to It said if this, do this, if this, do this, if this, do this, none of which were even remotely related to what we were talking about. And then it said, please reach out to support help. The support help dongle that's on the actual YouTube dashboard. I forget what it's called. Okay, so I went over there. I did the whole screen capture thing, wrote the thing. I'm like, hey, YouTube support, here's what's going on, here's what I'd like to do, here's why I can't, blah, 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 blah. That generated another form letter that didn't even remotely address anything that I had written, but informed me to contact who I just contacted. It's just a circular loop. It doesn't go anywhere. Every reach out to you. Oh my god. How silly. It's very, very silly. Maybe I made a video they didn't like once, and they were really offended by the so effing fluffy video. They're just trolling me. I don't know. But, yeah, unless I can source some... we're not going to do the emergency kittens this year, sadly. I think that's a fun gimmick. But I need to be able to source public domain kittens, or maybe I could like take a camera and go to a rescue or something and just film footage or something like that. Or I don't know. I'll think about something for next year maybe. But I just genuinely don't want the headache of... also, this is a copyright strike, so I don't really want to put the existence of my channel in jeopardy, no matter how cute the kitties are. Although I do have some footage of my sister's cat, from Brian's cats, the April's cats, you know, that I can use, but most of it I just found some cute videos. Most of them were edited down from longer versions, but that, again, that doesn't matter. I do want to be clear that I did not have the rights to use any of that, except the thing from Brian and my sister in April. And it's perfectly fine that they, that anyone, you know, claimed it and, you know, asked me to trim out their content, because it's theirs. No problem at all. I do not begrudge them that at all. I do wish that this one person would have just claimed it instead of having my entire video removed. That feels like kind of a jerk move, but, you know, especially a year later. Yeah, well. Alright. Hey. Let's talk about Disney Plus. So, Disney Plus is raising its prices. I got an email within the last week that says... Now, I started with Disney Plus at the beginning, so I got in on the... if you get 3 years of Disney Plus, you only pay like $6 a month for it, but you got to buy 3 years worth. I said, all right. So so they want to raise it to like, I don't know, $13.99 or something, and I've been paying like $6 something. So they're like, hey, your stuff is going up to $139 a year or something. And I went to their pricing webpage, and it doesn't make any sense because their values are all wrong. And it says on the page, you know, get a year's bundle for less money. But if you actually look at it, the monthly cost adds up to less than the annual. And I was just like horrifically confused. I'm like, okay, these prices are not what was in the email, and they don't even make any sense. So I made a mistake, and I called Disney Plus, which I know I shouldn't do, because Disney Plus, at least, hires people who have absolutely no earthly clue what in the hell they're doing at all. Like, genuinely do not know. About a year ago, Disney Plus, for some reason, the language switched to Dutch. I went on to Disney Plus and it was Dutch for some reason. I don't know. Nothing against the Dutch, but I I can't read the language, which made it really difficult to find the language toggle, because the whole website was in Dutch. I don't speak or read Dutch. Hell, it took me a minute to go, what language is that? Is it Dutch? I'm not even sure. It was Dutch. So I called up Disney Plus, and it took 35 minutes. I was just like, hey, the website's on the wrong language. Can you walk me through where in the settings the language toggle is so I can just toggle it back to English? I was thinking 3 minutes we'd be done. No, 35 minutes. I had to figure it out myself, because I genuinely got the impression that the person on the other end of the phone had never seen the Disney Plus site at all. So I really shouldn't have called them. But I did. And the guy says, okay, he says, well, the price is going up tomorrow. So here's what we can do is I can cancel your account and then resubscribe at the same price, because the price hasn't gone up yet. And I said, are you sure? He goes, yeah. I said, okay, so you're going to cancel my account and restart it at the same price. This price, 70 bucks a year or whatever it is. He goes, yes. Okay. Long story short, after 35 minutes, he'd find, and putting me on hold like 8, 9 times, he had finally figured out that he couldn't do that. He had been mistaken, even though I clarified multiple times. He says, oh no, I can only start you at not the price you originally signed up at, but I can restart you at the price that it's at today, which is less than what so it'll be $109 a year instead of tomorrow the price goes up to $139 a year or whatever it is. I said, see, I'd been very polite and patient up to this point, but now I was in danger of losing my temper and saying very mean things. But I did not. I said, okay, well, go for it. Another 15 minutes rolls by, and he manages to cancel my account. And then he says, now go on to the Disney Plus site. I'm like, why? He's like, well, you need to, I thought he was going to, just make sure you can log in. I'm like, okay, go to the Disney Plus site. And I'm like, yeah, I'm logged out, and I can't log in. It goes to, go to the buy a plan page. And he goes, okay, go to DisneyPlus.com. I'm like, I'm at DisneyPlus.com. He's like, go to the home page. I'm like, right. It redirects me to this welcome page, which says, pick a plan. Are you not seeing the same thing? Once again, it seems like the people hired at Disney Plus customer support have never seen the site at all. Long story short, after nearly an hour, the only thing this goober managed was canceling my account. I had to go through the site, which is not very intuitively laid out, find the damn annual plan, and sign up for it myself. So I wasted an hour of my time. I could have just canceled the damn thing and re-signed up myself. I could have done that all by myself in less than 5 minutes. It took this guy 45 or 50 minutes to I actually not yelled, but I did make it very clear with my tone of voice that I was displeased. And I asked him point blank, what the hell have you been doing for the last 35 or 40 minutes? What have you been doing? The only thing you accomplished in 40 minutes was canceling my account. What have you been doing? I hung up on him, because I wasn't going to do anything more than be abusive to him. But, it's unkind of me to say, but I hope he feels bad. I think he should feel bad. I think he should be embarrassed, humiliated, because he has no idea what he's doing. he acts like, and maybe it's not his fault, but he genuinely acts like, I genuinely come away with the impression that he's never seen the Disney Plus site at all. Because his instructions were like, there should be a subscribe button or something. I'm like, tell me exactly what you want me to click on, and I'll click on it. I don't think he could. I don't think he knew. You'd think Disney would be able to hire people who at least had access to the website and could look at it, follow live. So, YouTube may be the least helpful, but Disney is far and away the most truly incompetent. Just stunning. I mean, it genuinely feels like I called some dude at random and asked him to tech support Disney Plus site. Like, it's like, I mean, if you just called me at random, it's like, hey, I need you to troubleshoot TurboTax. I don't work for Intuit? Who the hell owns TurboTax? It doesn't matter. I don't use that program. I have no idea how it works. It's like, all right, well, let me pull a... No, you can't actually look at TurboTax. You have to troubleshoot it blind without knowing anything about it. That's not a good way to do tech support. I have spoken. Chicago says, Disney Plus support people are probably just the Disney World actors. It's like, hey, you done in that goofy costume? Alright, get your ass on the phones. Drag them off the park and have them answer calls when they're needed. Yeah. Alright. One more thing. What the Hexville? Hey, do you remember The Mask? Not that one. The Jim Carrey one from like 94? Right? Yeah. It's a cute movie, right? As you probably know, it's based on a comic book. Well, I'd always wanted to read the comic book because I heard it was quite different. Like, it's actually, a lot of people die and it's pretty gory. I finally got around to actually reading the original run of The Mask. And it is definitely quite different. And it is definitely, people die and it's gory. It's also not very good. It's zany, it's imaginative, so it's entertaining from kind of a visceral standpoint. I like the art. It's got a lot of imagination. I appreciate that. Where it falls flat for me is the characters. They all just kind of suck. They're all kind of flat. It's an interesting idea. Basically, the first run of the comic is there's a mask, and when people put it on, their id goes crazy, or is it super ego? I don't remember which one it is, but their true desires come forth and are amplified in often violent and dangerous ways. And so there's this rogue vigilante wandering around the city, who everyone refers to as Big Head, which is weird because his head ain't that big, and the more notable thing about it is he's green. You think he'd be called Greenhead, but no, it's just Big Head. Stanley Ipkiss is the Jim Carrey character from the movie. Is the first one to get the mask, and then he loses it and dies. And then police guy gets the mask, and then he loses it. And then a gang he takes turns with the mask. So the mask ends up being a bunch of different people, and that's an interesting premise. But all the characters are very weak from a narrative standpoint, which is a shame. Worth a read just for viscerally. I mean, it's kind of like watching a beat 'em up, a martial arts movie with little to no story. yeah, the characters are flat. Yeah, the story is crap, but it's got people punching each other in the face in fun ways. So, it works on that level. I'm glad I read it, even though I didn't think it was narratively very good. Big Head, Big. I don't know what it sounded like I said, but yeah, big head, large noggin. Um, what else did I try? I actually tried a different. I forget what it's called. Action Man or something. I don't remember. It's not often that I will give. It was a library thing, so I did. I'm like, oh hey, here's a spy thriller or something. I read probably 20 pages of this thing, and I nope. And it was only because the art was just the ugliest damn art I'm like, no, this is just off-puttingly awful. I can't stand it. And it wasn't even like, I wouldn't even call it bad. Like, it's not like the artist couldn't draw. It was just a style that I genuinely couldn't stomach. It was just so off-putting to me. That doesn't happen often. There's a couple shows and comics and stuff that I've read where the art is just so antithetical to my own personal taste that I'm like, I can't stomach this. Sorry. So all right. One more thing. As many of you have probably seen the Eurovision videos I've done on my channel, reacting to montages of 20-second excerpts of various Eurovision performances. And I have heard from many of the people who have watched those reactions that, well, I mean, if any of those caught your eye, and many of them did, you should, check out some of the full performances. I thought to myself, yeah, I totally should. And then I thought to myself, may as well record myself doing that. So, expect some full performance reaction videos over the next year. The first one is going to be out on Halloween, and you can probably guess which one it's going to be. So look forward to that, because that's going to be a busy week for me. Let me see. So Saturday the 28th is Molehill Mountain. The following day we'll have a Sunday stream. We'll do more Trails from Azure. Monday the 30th is Gem the Holograms review. I think that's Enter the Stingers Part 2, I think. Then 31st Halloween, a Eurovision video. I also have a Extra Life promo video that day. The first Wednesday is going to be a movie mandates. The second Thursday is another. No, that's Enter the Stingers 3, another Gem review. Friday is the last promo video, and then the Saturday and Sunday is the Extra Life charity thing. So, yeah, that's a lot. You might be wondering, Andrew, I heard you say you were jonesing to play more Azure. How come you just didn't do that this week? Busy, had other things I had to do. One of the things that I did it's just one of those things you got to do for the charity event is during the marathon, occasionally I have to step away from the camera to use the restroom or for a meal break or something, dinner or breakfast. When I take short breaks, I play little commercial bumpers and miracle stories from the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. It's relevant to the whole Extra Life thing, and it gives you something to watch other than the pause screen of whatever we're playing, right? Thing is I have to go source all those videos, which are approved for use in this context, so I don't have to worry about copyright claims, but I have to source all those videos, download them, view them, edit them together in a way that can be used in my broadcast software. So that's done. That I was like, I should do a special Azure stream because I want to play some more. I was like, nah, I really need to get this stuff done. So did that. Still on the lookout for spicy foods. Where for the charity event, we've done the drinking game for the last 2 years. We're doing something a little different. We're doing spicy food challenge. So every, I don't know, $100 we raise, I'll try a new spicy snack. Depends on how many I can find. Problem is I can't just go buy a bunch of stuff now because it's 3 weeks away. Most of it would be stale by then. If I got like, super spicy chips or something like that, they'd be super spicy stale chips in 3 weeks. So I kind of have to wait until the final week to go out and shop. So every time I shop, I'm like, ooh, Hatch chili pineapples. That looks good. Yeah, they're not available anymore. So some of the things I've been keeping an eye on are either discontinued or out of season. So it's like, so I think this aspect of the charity event probably has me the most nervous because it's one of the can't do it until the last. Actually, the one that's the video games are still en route. One of them, WarioWare, not Twisted, Move It, WarioWare Move It. That's our active game. That comes out on Friday, the 3rd of November, the day before the charity event. It's currently scheduled to get here on Friday, but the year I did Just Dance, that was another one that was, I think it came out like the Friday before, and it just I think I got it from I think I rented it from GameFly, and GameFly screwed up, and I had to go buy it from Best Buy or something like that. So yeah, that stuff happens. So I just got an email from Pizza Hut that says, or someone purporting to be Pizza Hut, that says, "Up late? Us too! Pizza! Banana!" Is that a banana? No, I'm guessing that's a crescent moon and not a banana. Okay. It's a little after 8. It's not that late, Pizza Hut. Well, whatever. Okay. So I think that's it for podcasty stuff tonight. Hope you're all having a lovely week. I'm tired. I've just been working on the charity event and the gem reviews, and I had to redo the whole portion of the charity event from last year. Baten Kaitos Origins I'm really quite enjoying though, so that's good. Chicago says, whoever delivers WarioWare is going to say they tried to deliver your game, but you weren't home. Oh yeah, maybe, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, if it doesn't get delivered, I'll just have to go out to Best Buy or Target or Walmart or something and just go buy it and then return it whenever it does get here. And it's all right, that's it for me. Join me tomorrow, noon Pacific Standard Time, and we'll continue our journey through Trails to Azure. And until then, make sure you eat a healthy dinner and wash behind your ears, because that gets really dirty. Dirt collects there, I guess. Yeah, so have a good night, everyone, or rest of your day if you're on the other side of the pond. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.